I don't worry about shows at all. I perform pretty regularly. I don't think about it for like the weeks in advance. A really high percentage of the time, about 2 minutes before the show, I'm like, I need to throw up. And sometimes I do. And I'm like, oh, I should have worried about this a little bit more. Yeah, about once a month or once every other month I throw up before. I was on the news recently. I threw up before that at like 8 a.m. I'd never been nervous at 8 a.m. before. The crazy thing, they had peppermints in the bathroom after you threw up. So I'm like, maybe this happens a lot, but yeah, I don't know. It was a weird experience.
I don't know the last time I went to, I guess, just a bar. What's the Pins Mechanical? You know, they have the guys that like have spray and you can hand you the stuff. But it's like, it doesn't feel like I'm at a nice hotel. Like
Pins Mechanical does not feel like you're at a nice hotel at all.
And it's like sticky floors. It feels
it's disgusting
it's very funny.
And wonderful.
I should have done it just for the, I don't know.
Just for the memories.
Just for the experience, yeah.
Yeah, that's a job that you don't see a lot of people do anymore. That's one that automation has handled, unfortunately. It's like the New Jersey, you have to pump your gas in New Jersey. Like, that's not a real job. No offense. I don't have a real job either.
Yeah.
I'm not clowning on it. But it's like we can handle that.
Are any jobs real?
Are any jobs real? I think the only real jobs, farmer, engineer, teacher, guard.
I'm watching a Korean drama right now. It's just this bodyguard who's jumping around guarding CEOs. He's like a plant.
That's pretty good. Do you watch a lot of Korean?
Yeah, that's all I've been watching for like 2 months straight. It's just Korean crime dramas.
Do you do the subtitles?
Do subs. I can't do dubs. Even good dubs.
I've never really gone into like anime, so I don't have like a strong opinion on that.
I started with dubs. I got old enough. I was like, it's awkward. The timing is weird. It throws off the tone.
And they spend less time on the people doing the dubs. Like, they don't spend a lot of money on it.
That's going to be a job that's gone.
That's going to be a job, yeah. The big thing, like, ever since the Screen Actors Guild, their last strike, everything in that industry, both like live and like voiceover stuff is like, it's just disappearing. AI, boo, thumbs down.
Oh, I thought you liked AI.
Okay, I like Allen Iverson. A little overrated all time. I like his step through over Tyronn Lue. That's pretty good. But
you're a hoop guy.
I am a hoop guy.
Nice.
Can't you tell from? I am do or die. I love the NBA. I'm a diehard Utah Jazz fan.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, for real. Not a joke. It's true. Unfortunately,
I think there's worse.
I mean, we have the 4th highest regular season winning percentage of all time.
Right. No, not a bad team to be a fan.
We just don't have any chips. Or we drafted Ace Bailey. That was pretty exciting. He fell to 4. I'll talk hoops all day, dude. This can be a hoop podcast. I don't give a dude.
I want to get into sports again.
Yeah.
But, the time, it really is. Your heart's got to be there.
Your heart's got to be in it. Yeah. See, I don't watch K-dramas. Those were the 2 picks. It was either get into K-dramas or basketball.
Understandably. I think that's really the only true 2 picks.
Yeah, K-dramas are the basketball of dramas. That's what people are always saying.
Right. Specifically K-crime dramas. Talking to friends like, oh, I'm watching this K-drama.
Yeah.
And they would like look at me funny. I'm like, I don't know what the big deal is. And then I realized they think I'm watching more of the love smut.
Like the goofy girl and then the billionaire meets her and it's so awkward, but then they have to team up together for something.
And then they fall in love.
So I used to speak pretty good Chinese back in the day, and I'd forgotten how to do it. And I was like, I'm going to get back into speaking Chinese by watching Chinese shows on Netflix. And the problem is they're terrible. I mean, I know there are good ones out there, obviously, but I was watching like this one, like Meteor City or something like that. And that's just the plot. It's just always cool.
Oh, the Wes Anderson film. I didn't know he was Chinese.
Yeah, Wes Anderson hides it well, but yeah, he speaks perfect Chinese. He's from Nanjing.
And you grew up in Shanghai. That's Mandarin, typically, right?
Yeah.
Where's Cantonese? Like
Hong Kong, basically.
That's it.
It's mostly Hong Kong.
Gotcha.
But everyone in China speaks something other than Mandarin. They only fully regulated the language 7 years ago during the Cultural Revolution. Just because it's a giant country. There are over 1 billion massive, people, and everyone in their different regions speaks their own
Cultural
dialect.
Revolution.
Yes.
I'd say my current and past 3 decades, geopolitical landscape and knowledge, I think it stops at the 80s. I think it was really the Reagan administration.
And that's when you checked out?
Then it's it's so concurrent.
Yeah.
And it's these constantly molding shapes. And the text isn't like in stone yet. You know, the victor has yet to be like
to write the history.
Yeah. That's like I noticed my history textbooks kind of stopped. So it was just I don't know shit after that.
You can't evaluate history until something becomes history. You know, there's a subreddit r/history memes, which is a very fun subreddit I like, but they don't like let you post about anything from the previous like 20 years because there's just no way to like. It's like the rankings of presidents people really like to do, but you can't like we can barely even like figure out if Jimmy Carter's like an okay president. You know, there's no way to tell if. I mean, there's some signs, you know. We have some strong guesses.
That's another thing. Like to really know the stuff, you gotta love it like hoops.
I love history,
hoops
man.
And geopolitics.
Those are my two big things.
But my heart's not really in it, and I treat hoops the same way. Hey, how are the Cavaliers doing? I don't know.
Good. Second round exit. Disappointing. That's how it goes.
Who's the Cleveland Cavaliers of the geopolitical landscape?
All right, you got a couple lenses to look at that through because they were great. They had a great run. 7 years ago, it ended when LeBron left to LA, and now they're back. So who's a country that flopped and now it's kind of on its way back? Syria's making some good moves. They're opening themselves up to business.
I don't know enough about Syria. I hear that stuff is happening in Syria.
That's true. They're opening themselves up to business. When I was in high school, I was one of the co-presidents of my like politics club. I graduated high school and I was like, I have to find a more interesting personality than arguing about politics. The video I'm working on right now isn't political, but it touches a little more on some of those things.
Scathing.
Yeah, it's pretty based. Pretty based.
Baseball Platt.
Baseball Platt. But yeah, I think
baseball bat. Do you freestyle?
Check, please. Very poorly, and only when drinking. But yes, I've been watching Taskmaster.
That sounds like a Mr. Beast show.
Honestly, the format is you could imagine Mr. Beast doing it. They basically get like 6 comedians over the course of a couple of months, and then they have them independently go to like a certain location, and then they have them complete tasks individually, and then they once a month or whatever they get together, and then they show what everybody did to beat those tasks.
It's like The Amazing Race, but like really qualified people is what you're saying.
It's like no, they're not qualified. They're terrible at it, but that's part of the fun. And it's free to watch on YouTube, which is my favorite price.
Oh, Paul said he arrived. Let me go get him really quick. Your perspective on AI and how it's been specifically on. It was the AI like choosing your dates.
Yeah.
I feel like you really show things in a light that typically I would find sad, and you have like a very heartwarming, lighthearted approach to like more hopeful about things I typically would be like, oh, fuck.
Well, I appreciate that. I don't know. I think cynicism is the national language. I think we're all like, everything seems hopeless and it seems terrible. And a lot of things are tough. And so much of like modern technology is designed around numbers that are like trying to detract from our humanity and from like our human experience. But I think the nice thing is no matter what happens, they can't fully get rid of us. You know, I just really believe in the human spirit and people's abilities to like to care about things and care about each other. Every time I turn off my phone and I go outside and I interact with people, I feel such optimism. Mm-hmm. Every time I touch grass, it makes me feel, I'm like, oh, it's just other people.
I definitely am not like gifted with optimism, not the most idealistic, but I really appreciate that. I was like looking into I was like, is this website really his, or was that like another, PowerPoint slide you made? I was like, okay, this is really his website, and I saw your manifesto. I was like, oh, like this is really like your mantra.
You saw the manifesto,
yeah,
dude. I love it. I love it when people read the manifesto. That's what this is all about.
There was one point that I really liked, and it was specifically on like, I don't know if you use the term success or growth, but it was essentially like in order to get to where you want to be, like embarrassment is like
embarrassment is the entry fee to success.
Yes.
I believe that absolutely 100% fully. Everything you've ever wanted in life, you have gotten by failing at it. It's like if you've ever been in love, the only way that you've managed to be in love and be in a happy relationship is at one point you were younger and you were scared and you asked somebody out and it went well or it didn't go well or whatever, but there's embarrassment that's part of that. There's fear that's part of that. And doing a bad job at everything is the only way to do a good job at anything. Mm-hmm. And I think by holding yourself back, by not pushing yourself to embarrass yourself, you limit where you can go.
It feels most applicable to performing arts, I think, because it's one of those things you can't objectively ever win. But if you don't allow yourself to in your mind, like if you don't set parameters of, okay, I may have not won tonight, but 3 years ago this would have been a win. Or, you know, like I told myself this was a win and I'm not allowing myself to feel this win. Also being like, yeah, this show sucked.
Yeah.
And feeling the entirety of that pain and still getting back on stage.
Yeah. And that happens. So I do the video essays now. I love doing that. It's like, it's my favorite thing. I'm so glad I found it. But
you should see me on my bed, like laying on my stomach, twiddling my feet in the air.
Eating
like,
cookie
typing.
dough.
I was like typing. I was like, oh, I can't wait to ask him this.
Paul Platt Comedy.
Yeah. At Paul Platt Comedy.
On
Is
YouTube.
That it?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Nice. Actually, Paul Platt. We already gave him a shout out.
It's true.
We're gonna get back to what you're talking about. Do you remember where
I always remember where I am.
I don't. I will be gone.
You brought up the manifesto. That's like bringing like a treat around a dog. I'm always happy to talk about that.
Love the manifesto. It was very similar to. It's a very individual manifesto.
Mm-hmm.
Almost so individual. It's like uni. Oh, this is I'm a little scared.
I bring up the manifesto and everyone's like, Paul, you got to come up with a new name for it. Every time there's a manifesto, somebody dies. It's not my intention. Look, there are lots of non-murder manifestos, okay? I'm trying to reclaim it. You go on a first date, you tell a girl you have a manifesto, you do not get a second date.
No, absolutely
it
not.
does not work out.
I like it. I open up about like sad, dark shit a lot, but I was like kind of nervous. I was like, can I be earnest around him? Can I like be like a dweeb? And I like saw those. I was like, yeah, I bet so. But then I read the manifesto. I'm like, it's cool. Dude, I can just let it rip.
That's the whole point. That's the whole point of everything, you know?
It should be. The entry level to success is embarrassment. I've heard that in so many different forms, and all those people that say that are friends that inspire me or I aspire to be, they've flopped horribly.
I knew for a long time that like if I wanted to continue in my career, I had to post more online. I knew that that was something that I had to do. And I said that, and I would preach and I would proselytize about it all day, every day. And I didn't do it for multiple years because despite knowing that that's what I should be doing, I was too embarrassed to do it. And when I started doing it, it was really embarrassing. My stuff bombed for like months. I made posts that people didn't get likes. I posted like my stand-up. You know, some of them did okay, some of them did bad. I did sketches and slowly I got better and better. And then doing the video essays was like the 7th iteration of what it was like for me to try and build a platform. And I'm really grateful because, you know, I love doing it. And it turns out I really like the long form format much more than I'd like the short form format. So it ended up working out, but it's like, yeah, dude, it was embarrassing.
I would say like only having to deal with like not garnering views for like a couple months is impressive. But those months feel...
Yeah. When I made any of my accounts, I didn't tell any of my friends about it because I didn't want people to see it. But then because of the way the algorithm works and stuff, people would still see it and they bring it up. I'm like, oh, dude.
Tajani told me every generation of artists had to do something that they didn't want to do in order to do the thing they wanted to do more.
Yes.
Which hopefully the video essays don't feel like that. It seems like you really love doing them as well.
I love it. I really...
You shine.
You know, I've always been a person with a lot of opinions. People always bring up the idea, like, so... You know, I operate a lot in the stand-up comedy world, and everyone's like, oh, I don't want to post online. I just want to be funny. And it's like, yeah, that's what everyone wants to do. But the reality is there's no level of joke that you can tell that is going to make you famous doing it live. It's just not going to happen. Who's the last comedian that you can think of that got famous through stand-up? Not through their clips online, not through being on a TV show. This is just a guy who came up. And even then, like...
It didn't even work that way then. It didn't even work then
because even back then you knew them from being on The Tonight Show. It is maybe not what you dreamed of, but there has never been another time in history where as an artist you can connect with people all over the world for free. I've gotten some DMs from people in like Europe and like Australia and like 50 years ago without like a major like studio behind me. There's no way that ever could have happened.
I do think there is a real chance that there will be some form of an artistic renaissance in our generation. This is also hopeful optimism from a guy who has this studio. And like, this is what, you know, I like really believe and what I do. And I really could see some form of like an artistic renaissance.
I think it's already happening. I don't know if like the Citizen Kane of whatever this format is exists yet, but I'm like, if you go onto TikTok or short form video, but specifically TikTok, some of the edits that I see are like amazing, and some of the like just weird short videos that like have a distinct visual style and are like surreal. Like I did a video a couple months ago about Veronica Slowakowska and Kyle, and they're like back and forth, and it's basically like a short form video sitcom, right?
Yeah.
And you know, is it The Office? No, but I just feel so optimistic. You know, there's more music released in a single day today than there was in the entire year of 1989 combined. There are so many creative, cool people out there who are learning to dream in new formats.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way that we're not, there's an entire generation that's going to is just going to make slop.
Yes, like with with more of a democratization of being able to create and have all the tools at your disposal, there will be more slop, but there also is going to be more great stuff. Even then, like you go back, there's this guy, he like went back and like crate dug from all 1920s. 80% of the records were horrible Christmas songs.
Yes.
Like corny ass Christmas songs. So it's like, I think it just looks different. Yeah. And I think it is louder and there's a lot more noise, but it's really important to take control of what you consume in the way of like, if you really don't like something, keep it moving.
Yes.
Keep it pushing.
Yes, I would agree with all of that, especially like the video I'm working on right now that will hopefully come out in the next couple of days is about nostalgia and like the 1920s record thing. Like we go back and we look at that and we're like, oh, the 1920s, well, there were these great jazz albums or, you know, whatever. But you look back and you go to an average bar wherever people are performing and a lot of it's garbage like it is everywhere. And the problem with Instagram Reels or TikToks or anything like that is there's no more curation, right? Mm-hmm. So it's hard to be able to say, oh, what is the great art of this generation when it's sandwiched between hot girls dancing and like videos of people getting into fights and rage bait. But it exists out there. There's this giant pile of dirt that we have to sift through, and the only gold that we have, we just send it to our friends.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
And we're like, this is good.
I really don't trust people that start a conversation with, it's just not the same anymore. It's fine if you don't want to find new music, but that's just not true.
Man, I wish I had finished this video earlier because all of this stuff has been on my mind a lot lately. There's so many people, and I'm guilty of this in the same way. And I know I will continue to be as time goes on, but there's so much reverence for the past that sometimes it's hard to really appreciate what we have now. Yeah. And the thing is, one day, I promise you guys, in 10 years, we will be looking back and we'll be like, oh, I wish I'd taken advantage of Instagram Reels. That was a real time where I really could have made it. Or oh man, back then there was so much good stuff on Reels. Now it's all corporate and we lost all this sort of stuff. We'll find a way to be nostalgic about anything, man.
1,000%.
That's why it's like we just got to enjoy it.
My spouse just said the other day, I was talking about a time where I became unemployed and I was just streaming, making beats for like 5 hours a day. During that time, that's when I actually got my chops up. And I got over a fear of performing and like making stuff in front of people, seeing my process. I look back and I'm like, what a transformative and beautiful time that was.
Yeah.
And she said something along the lines of, it's really hard to be present when your body is constantly changing because it's like, I've never been at this place before.
Yes. When you look back at the past, even an hour ago or 2 hours ago or whatever, there's something that's easier about it because all of the problems from that hour are solved. You know, it's nice to be in the present, but I'm thinking right now, all right, I'm having fun, but also I'm like, all right, I might have to pee in a little bit. Am I going to eat food later? How do I look in this exact moment? Like there's just,
if you feel any of those ways, we can take care of that.
That's you've got those abilities.
Designated pee catcher.
Oh, that's good. Oh, this is a professional operation.
Yes, professional enough.
He's a non-union pee catcher.
Yeah, be careful. Don't say that word around here. What the You are the first acquaintance that I've done this with. I had a really good acquaintance with you. We talked about it briefly when I got you back here, but you played in the middle of a music show.
Yes, I did.
And you did like 10 minutes.
Yes, I did. I used to do a lot more shows that were kind of all over the place, and I don't do those. I don't do that as often now, so that's not a muscle that I feel.
Like New York City?
New Wonk City. Well,
New Wonk, sorry.
New Wonk City. New Wonk City is different because that's like we're trying to create like long form, like a mix up between like theater and stand up. It's home turf because we're putting it together. It's different than like going somewhere else and you show up and you're at a bar and nobody cares.
You're a guest in the house.
Yeah. Also, just because like for a lot of the shows we've done, it's so like intensive, like the amount of work that goes into it. I'm like, I know people are going to show up. I know people will pay attention. That's always my greatest fear when I perform. I'm like, if you don't like me, that's fine. But if I have to be in a place where people aren't paying attention, then it's kind of like, and
you'd rather be hated than people
than
impartial.
Ignored. I did a show at a biker bar in South Carolina once with a Confederate flag.
I feel like you ate there, brother.
I did not. I do like that you're like, Paul, your demo is biker Confederates, but no. Thank you. That's so sweet.
I grew up in Kansas. They are all like, he's definitely gay.
Dude, especially when I was younger, for many years, I also got the everyone thought I was gay thing. For many years. Now I'm sure people still think it, but they're quieter about it. So I grew the mustache and I grew my hair out. And before, I just looked like I just kind of had like a little boy look and vibe.
You looked very, very young when I met you. I thought you may have been 17 or 18.
I was 21 years old.
I'd say you look your age now.
I hope so. I hope so. It's nice. Every time I go to a bar and I don't get ID'd, I'm like,
nice. Going back to the biker bar.
Biker bar. Yeah, dude, it was just a show and Confederate flag on the roof. There are a lot of shows that you go to and you don't realize until you get there that nobody there knows there's about to be a show. They think they're about to have dinner with their family or drinks with their friends. And then somebody goes up and is like, you guys ready for comedy? And nobody makes any noise. And they're like, Paul Platt's here. And you go on stage. And I just basically talked for 10 minutes to no one. And I was like, this is the worst thing. And I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I can't do that. And then I did do more shows like that many times.
We had a atrocious show in Cincinnati that was like nightmare show. We played 13 songs through like one of the worst technical hardware issues. We just had to keep going. We said in the mic like, hey, can we get this fixed like in between songs? Nothing. The guy comes up immediately after and he says, hey, did everything sound fine on stage? We didn't say a word for like an hour after. We just had to really sit in that.
That's just how it goes sometimes. This is why I'm very grateful that I get to, most of the stuff I do doesn't have like a major technical element, you know? Because most of it's just like me performing by myself with a microphone. But I remember when I've got a one-man show I do on occasion. And
Booker T PowerPoint?
No, that was a one-time thing. That was kind of a riff. I did that entire presentation the hour before, just because I just cannot conceptualize that things are happening until I should be nervous about it.
I actually feel this. I won't get excited or nervous until the day of because I could die.
In some ways, I'm like, I'll never have to do the show. Maybe I'll get lucky and I'll die. And then you get there and you have to do the show, and it's the worst. It's hard putting stuff out as a creator, but then you're also a person. And you're also have like family members who see things and friends from childhood and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because early on, you have much more of like a lot of your audience might be your friends and family. So it's easy to cater to that, you know?
Right.
But as time goes on, I'm like, there are probably some things that are interesting for me to talk about. There's just an interesting distinction between serving the audience and serving the people in your life.
Yeah.
Stuff you're willing to talk about or not willing to talk about. Or like, I don't want to make a sex joke on stage if my family's there. But otherwise, I might make that joke, you know? I like video editing because I mean, I edit my own videos. There's a much more expressive part, which is writing. Writing is probably the most time-consuming part of the creation process. And then I hate filming because it's just the worst. The second I'm done with filming, I feel good because I'm like, all right, this is all the material I have. Now it's just my job to make it work. You know, most of it's already done because the writing's there, but I get to be expressive in some ways, like with the music choices and all that sort of stuff. And you get to see it come together. You know, like when you look at a blank page, it's just like, oh man, dude, I got to fill this with something. It's very different than like, I got all this right here. Now I just have to mold it. The video I'm just about to finish. I spent all this morning editing it.
It was hard to step away, wasn't it?
It was, but it was nice because I'm like,
Thanks for coming, by the way.
Oh no, thanks for having me.
Yeah, you can get the out now.
But yeah, like this video, the script is 4,500 words. Filming the script took about 6.5 hours. So the 4,500 word script that I ended up with, I wrote over 42,000 words in total to get there. Now, it's not normally like this. I got real manic on this one, and it's something I feel very strongly about. Normally, I deliberately try to not get this manic about things or like become this much of a perfectionist.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, I succeed. And every time I get into like a state like this, I'm like, this is not sustainable. It's not sustainable to be creative like this.
No.
You know,
so many things are a little bit concerning about that, and I can relate. Most of the creators I respect kind of operate in that way, and I used to like praise that.
we glamorize it.
Yes,
Yeah.
100% fetishized. Even.
Yes,
like,
yes, yeah. It's the same with like the idea of like the tortured artist who work like the Hemingway who drinks himself to death because he's so tortured by how good of a writer he is. You know, it's like it's not.
Shout out Ernest Hemingway. I love Farewell to Arms. One of my favorite books.
I've only read one of his short stories, but it was a good one. White Elephant.
To be fair, I'm not much. I did most of my reading in like AP English in high school.
Mm-hmm. I also took AP English, and I didn't read any of those books. I've read lots of books since then, but dude, you got to read a book in like 3 weeks. They like, well, read Moby Dick in 2 weeks. I'm like, dude, I got shit going on.
Yeah.
I'm trying to lose my virginity. I got shit happening.
Yeah. You will never work that hard in college unless you're a med major at an elite university.
I took some community college classes, and I did not pass any of them except for public speaking. I tried like once a semester for like 2 years. I was like, I'm going to take 3 classes. It'll be nice and easy. And I would go for the first like 2 weeks. And this is obviously just, these are excuses, but I'm like, I've got a big show this weekend. I don't have time to study. My
awesome.
one-man show debuts on Friday. It's like, shut the up, Paul. You just don't want to do this.
I like that. That's tough.
It's tough if it works out. It's only tough if it works out. If it
That's
doesn't,
true.
If it doesn't work out, it's
true.
a bad decision.
Hey, look at you now.
Yeah, on top of the world. So I was working at a restaurant for like 2 years, 3 years, and it closed in maybe end of March.
Did you have anything to do with why it closed?
I was not any of the reasons that it closed, but I did not do a good job there. I will make that clear.
Your work environment is only as good as the people around you. Don't put it on yourself.
I just was checked out, and it was an interesting work environment. But
I feel like you'd be a good host, though.
I was a daytime bartender at a Failing Wings restaurant. People would come in 11 a.m. They're like, all right, ready for my 3 beers.
Hell yeah.
And I'm like, all right. And I'm just like behind the bar, like editing my video. And they're like, oh, my wife's a I'm like, I'm working on something.
Can you shut the up?
Can you shut up? I'm typing. I'm checking my YouTube analytics.
Your social blade?
Yeah. Dude, I'm on all of them. I'm so obsessive about analytics.
Are you really?
I don't know if I'm obsessive about it. It's really fun to look at when it's going well.
Look at my numbers.
I gotta check my numbers. There's so many little like subconscious things when we view something that we see, and it gives us a hint about whether it's high quality or not. There are fantastic videos hidden behind millennial pauses and poor lighting and poor audio. Mm-hmm. And that's not a problem for you guys. Looks great, sounds great.
Dude, it's so weird
well
being
done.
27 now, like 1998, 99 kids.
You're 98. You're Gen Z. Look, I follow Pew Research, which is 96 to 2012.
Damn,
I think
96.
It's either 96 or 97, but that's close enough.
Pushing.
I mean, it's their generations. I'm like, what have we got in common with somebody who was born in 2012?
How are you on time, by the way?
I'm good forever.
Okay.
I'm good until 10:30 p.m.
I lock up my guest and crew along with that thing I sent you, the waiver. There's an NDA. I'll have you. We'll do it between the session.
Oh, good. I like signing my NDA after. That's good. Yeah. That's good.
A post NDA is a very funny concept. I like the idea of somebody like sheepishly being like, hey, I know like this thing we just did was kind of heinous, but like, would you mind signing this NDA?
That's how NDAs work.
There's some skit there.
I tried skits. I was so bad at them.
Really?
The only reason I started my YouTube channel was to start posting clips of sketches that I was doing on TikTok.
Okay.
I like the sketches. They're of varying levels of quality and varying levels of views, but it's hard because it was a one-man operation. I was posting one every day. You can't be like, hey guys, let's all get together for 90 minutes every day and come up with a sketch. People have jobs and stuff. And I also just didn't know how to do anything. But I'm grateful for it. I had a lot of fun. I learned so much about writing from making those short sketches. Mm-hmm. I would always follow with the analytics. You can see when people swipe from your video.
That's really nice.
I knew exactly
where
what
you
I was
lost
saying.
them.
Yeah. And it's not always like, people want to say it's always like, oh, you got to give them a hook, and then you got to give them, and then you got to give some information. That is one way to write stuff. That's a good way to get people in. But there's so much like magic to writing. I'd like to reference that scene from Ferris Bueller's Day Off, where they're looking at the art
the art exhibit.
And you're like, why does this work? Nothing is happening. The music is good, but it's like they're just looking at the art, and Cameron looks at the painting, and it's like, if you are going purely by engagement, you're like, all right, well, that's what does that say? But there's just, it works. Dude,
it works so
magic,
well.
man.
Truly, like, they captured that moment so well. It is moments like that where you really take that creative risk to like capture that and just like going for it.
There's a great video essay I saw probably by one of the cinema accounts or whatever, and it's called like When You Save the Movie in Editing. It's got one of those titles or whatever, and I watched it, and it's all about that scene and how like originally it wasn't working at all, and then in the editing room they tried a bunch of different, they were like going to cut it, or originally it was going to be near the start of the movie, or blah blah blah. That's another reason I love the editing process. There's just like, it's so fun to see things start to work after they don't work for so long.
Kind of going back to your video that was like, this joke kept bombing, why I kept doing it, and you go into like, you actually pull up like first and second versions, iterations of this joke. You reference like multiple times you performed it. I'm curious as to, is that something through skit making that you started analyzing your writing more, or was it always, once you got into comedy, you started seeing it very like just trying to understand the mechanics of it?
Like when I'm writing stuff or making stuff, I never think about those rules. I think what ends up happening is you learn those rules by doing it. The only reason I can now diagnose this like, oh, it's a premise, setup, punchline, tag, I didn't think that when I was writing it, and I don't think that when I write jokes now. When you tell jokes, they only work if you give somebody a premise and then you switch it. So but I'm never thinking like, oh, let me give them a premise. It's just like, it's almost instinctual,
Yeah.
I'll complain for a second. Most of my comments are very supportive, but whenever I do like a stand-up comedy video, I'm making a YouTube video. I want to explain something. I'm not trying to tell you how funny I am. Yeah. There's no way you're going to find a joke that I show you for 10 minutes how I got there. You're not going to.
It's the whole explaining a joke can make it unfunny.
Exactly. And I've already explained it before I've gone there.
I think that's another thing. It doesn't come off like me defending K-dramas, like it doesn't come off in that way where you're like defensive. It's not a thing of bravery. You just do it tactfully, and it's for the purpose of the video. It served the purpose. I find it extremely interesting because like, as a fan of comedy, I really don't digest a whole lot of the baseball talk around it.
I really think there's very little material out there about sort of the nuts and bolts of comedy that are based around like, let me give you some real life examples. Like everything else, there are 1 million YouTube accounts showing you how people make beats, and oh, these are the samples that I use. And the same thing with like writing, like long form stuff like that. There's lots of resources, but I think stand-up comedy, because it is such like an individual creation experience, because you make stuff and you go tell it on the road, and you don't have producers who work with it with you, and you don't like share information. So I just don't think there's a lot of stuff like that out there. So I thought, here is one of the things that I am some level of informed on. I'm willing to share something that makes me look a little stupid, or like I'm not great at this thing that I'm pretty good at, because I'm like, hey, isn't this neat?
I used to really not feel equipped to teach anybody anything. I grew up in band, and I grew up playing instruments. I read music. I knew how to read music. I wasn't very good at reading music. Like, I knew there was something in me when it came to like arrangement, and I didn't know how to realize that, right? There's kind of 2 points I want to make here, and they don't really correlate. But first thing, as far as teaching goes, no matter the medium or form, there's a point where you're going to have to be okay being the teacher, and it's a disservice to not, both to yourself and to your immediate community potentially, or like people that find what you do inspiring. There are people that have been curious about how I do my sound processing, or like how I make my samples. Or I just feel, kind of just shrug it off, not because I felt any type of way about it. It was more or less like, oh, but you do the same thing. Eventually took really close friends that are also music artists that were like, no, people want to know what the you're doing. Dude. Share that.
Well, it's the Dunning-Kruger effect, right? When people first start something, they think that they're an expert pretty quickly.
Oh, is it that
thing?
Yeah,
and then you go then, and it's the slow rise up. I think a lot of people...
It's shaped like a Ruger.
I don't know what a Ruger is, but I believe you.
This guy. He's a big gun guy.
I don't know.
I was also thinking, like, how funny would it be if we went to a shooting range?
Shooting range? I can shoot a gun at a shooting range if somebody explains it to me.
Yeah, it'd be fine. I've shot 2 guns in my life. I know I look like I could be like I'm
say you were from Kansas,
right? Yeah, I'm cusping on like this. This could be a guy's guy. I don't really. I've never hunted. I killed a frog once when I was little. It didn't feel right, and that was like a very pinnacle moment where like your stomach, you're like, ooh, I just
don't like killing things.
It's just whatever. I'm not. It's not even virtuous. Like I just don't like the feeling. Like
yeah.
I wish I could murder things.
It would actually be more virtuous to kill. Agreed. We're on the same page on this.
Kind of what you were saying about through trial and error, and the more you do it, you start to find the structure of things, right? Like you're imitating what you know. You're not thinking, the setup to the punch, to the tag, whatever. Yeah. You are like almost replicating before you're understanding it.
Yeah.
There's this really nice like theory of learning to first emulate or replicate and then to deviate. And then like, it's like the true deviation when you're not deviating out of rebellion.
I see what my parents do and I don't want that. So I'm going to reject it, but I'm still responding to it. So
yes.
It's still part of my experience.
Kind of cringe. Rebellion kind of cringe.
Dude, I'm out on rebellion.
Unless it's to the man.
Yeah. Boo the man. The vague man.
Going back, so I read your manifesto.
Dude, people do not respond well to the manifesto name, I'm telling you. One of my favorite books of all time is Reality Hunger by David Shields, and its subtitle is A Manifesto. So I just emulated that, and I didn't realize, it's got a real connotation to it. Don't worry, we're bringing it back. This time next year, everyone's going to have a creative manifesto. Tell your friends.
I like how you didn't put creative in front of it, though. Creative manifesto sounds lame. Manifesto, you're like, what the fuck?
I want to know more.
It's stark, yeah. When I met you, I was like, I like this guy. Like, we had a fun conversation. Yeah. Then when I asked you to do this, I was like doing research and I saw manifesto. There was like a 0.5 second. I was like, did I have a bad read on this guy? And I was like, nah, it's not. It's gonna be good. But there was a moment.
No. I should have a manifesto.
In fact, all stand-ups should have manifestos. Comedians
generally a stable
Every
group.
last comedian should have a manifesto.
Honestly, that would see. Here's I'm not gonna. I'm pulling back on this rip.
Me once anyone asks about like other artists, I feel betrayed.
This isn't your fault. Don't blame yourself. It's not your fault. It's not your fault.
It's so sad. If I know it's dead, that's fine. And now I'm gonna focus on it. I need to like look away from him.
I usually wear really, really beat up shoes, and sometimes it's off-putting to people. So people often offer to buy me shoes. So
I'm a big proponent of bummy shoes.
Hey, I put on my Sunday best. This is when I do shows for people over the age of 50. This is the outfit that I wear.
Really?
This exact outfit. I had to do a show at a country club, and I didn't have any clothes that they would let me go in. That's why I bought these pants and this shirt for that.
They would let you in there with that?
Yeah, well, yeah.
I didn't mean it like that. They let you in with that?
No, I had it like buttoned up because it had to be a collared shirt and there were no jeans.
Okay, real quick. Watch Paul Platt's videos.
Do watch my videos. I don't know if this can go on, but a couple of months ago, I was going out with this girl and she came over to my house. And it was like a casual thing, whatever. I was like, oh, let's put on a movie. And she's like, oh, I've never seen this before. And she put on the movie Her. It's just not a fun movie to watch.
Also with a first date?
Yeah, I'm like, we'd hung out once or twice.
Y'all are either getting married or never talking again.
And it's the latter.
Yep.
Like when you watch something, like there's an awkward, like a sex scene in a movie when you're like with your parents and you're like, I don't want to make eye contact with this person.
Her is that, but with relationships.
But like with a relationship, the entire time I'm like, oh, we could really ruin each other.
I like to watch a lot of heart-wrenching movies, kind of like a dog that gets injured and runs off so its family can't see that it's dying. Also, I'm a phone movie watcher. I love like watching movies on my phone at night because that's how I grew up watching on my iPod.
Really? See, I won't watch a movie on anything. Like I won't even watch a movie on like a laptop. Because if I'm on like a laptop, I'm like I'll watch like YouTube or something, That's just how it is. I don't even know how I'd watch a movie on my
You
computer.
Wanted to judge me when I said the phone.
The phone's kind of crazy, dude.
I know it's bullshit. I know people are like, dude, you're doing a disservice to the medium and yourself. But it's just I want to lay down in bed.
I don't want to yuck your yum. I'm not trying to yuck your yum.
Wow, he's kink shaming me right now.
And that was my plan. That's why I came here today. I'm here to kink shame.
Fecal play? Sorry.
I'm a masochist.
I like Pictionary sex.
That's why Pictionary sex.
Borders on tantric.
Yeah, I like doing charade sex. So the thing that I think about irony is I think it's a defense mechanism, which I think makes sense. The world is a scary place. It's hard to connect with people.
Yeah.
You know, anytime you put yourself out there, there's a risk of embarrassment. It's like what we were talking about earlier with the manifesto. Embarrassment is the entry fee to success. To fall in love, you gotta goof around.
Yeah.
You got to put yourself out there. To make friends, you have to put yourself out there. It's hard to do. But the other option is to just never connect with people. And I've spent years of my life doing that. Like I'm not an especially somehow it's easier for me like online, like in the stuff I make, it's easier, but I'd say in my day-to-day life, I have trouble being vulnerable and opening up, you know? Cuz the art is an element of like expression. So I just think it's easy to be ironic about things because irony is just detachment. It's so much easier to detach yourself and say you don't care because if something doesn't work out, then it doesn't affect you the same way.
Yeah.
But boy, what a miserable way to live.
Yeah, truly. I also think you're not really fooling anybody with irony. A different perspective, which I don't know I fully believe, but something I was thinking about while watching that video, maybe irony itself, it's almost superseded the mechanism that it was, and that it almost is just now honesty. People are understanding that you're being ironic, and I don't know, and this is just like a theory, it's almost like an evolution of language.
Yeah, well, I think especially if you look at like when I look back at how I interacted with my friends in high school, the more I think about it, I just think irony is a lot of like the language of youth. I remember reading a bunch of comments on my post and people being like, oh, I'm Gen X and, you know, we were the irony generation. And then millennials being like, oh, you think you invented irony? We're the irony generation.
This is on your videos.
Yeah. You know, you get a lot of comments and a lot of times you're like, all right, watch the video. You don't need to comment that. I get it, you know. I can only view the world from whatever lens through which I view the world, you know. So it's nice to hear other perspectives, and I'm like, it's nice to hear other people who've been through the same experiences that I have and giving me a new perspective, you know. Yeah. So I'm always grateful for something like that. But yeah, I think being young is scary and hard and awesome. You know, it's just an intense time in your life. I do really think the online world and having comments and quote tweets and being able to send stuff to people, I just think that in general, the fact that the stakes are higher for vulnerability now is a real challenge. I mean, the stakes are higher for everything.
I agree. I just really like to see how language and communication changes and evolves. Kind of like the history books, like the reason we didn't really read anything after 80s, 90s history is because it was still kind of concurrently being written and published. And especially with this, because I'd say the most concurrent evolution we have in communication is through the most democratic mediums, and right now that 100% is just being online.
The written word was the biggest thing for forever, and specifically basically just the Bible for like 2,000 years, you know. And then, you know, we get movies were a big deal, and like radio was huge. Radio was the only way, like for like decades, radio was how people got news and how art was transferred, you know. And then there were movies and TV shows, and you know, for a while online there was like blogs were written blogs were a big deal for a while, and now it's short form video. There are different expectations online. Like when I was doing the short form stuff, people liked my sketches, they commented on it, they were like, this is funny. There were a couple of people who'd watch every single one of them, you know. Like my video with like 700,000 views, it was just a funny bit. Like it didn't say anything, it didn't imply that there was going to be another similar thing. I didn't give a unique take. That's one of the reasons I think there is a reward online for some level of authenticity, as in like actually, because people want to connect with you as a creator. Online, with most content, just in general, it's like there's a lot of stuff out there that I think is made without like deliberateness and without a worldview and is made just to exist. Like something that's really, really important to me is I never want to make slop. I'm really happy to make stuff that's bad. I think that's an integral part of the process, and I will definitely make things that are bad, and I already have. But like, I never want to make something that's lazy, and I never want to make something that's like, hey, pay attention to me.
I think that's one thing you can control, fortunately.
Yes. Well, I think we all want attention. Like that's just the reality. If you're making stuff and you want people to see you perform, there is, I think, a level where like, yes, you probably want the attention in some ways. And the only way I can think of to get over that hump is I have to put in a lot of work and say something that I think is important, you know?
Yeah.
Like when I first started making videos, I would just check the stats until I saw that I'd gotten more watch hours than it had taken for me to make it. And then I'm like, all right.
That's a good scale.
It's a good scale. Yeah. There's just so much out there.
Yeah,
I don't want to contribute to slop.
You know, the rate of production is faster than ever, so.
Well, that's the thing. You have to make slop. You have to. And I'll just go on so many rants. I'm always happy to. But yeah, there's just so many people whose job, and this is good. As a musician, as a comedian, as a writer, most people's job now is Instagram. Your job is Instagram. That's just the reality. It sucks, but it is. And the algorithm rewards quality. It really does. But it also rewards quantity. And it rewards quantity more than quality. 10 mid clips is better than one great clip, you know, outside of like the ones that get 50 million views or whatever.
Right.
And even then, like, brand awareness is built by getting in front of people's faces regularly. So much of like slop, I'm like, yeah, I want to blame the creators because I'm like, all right, maybe there's not a lot of artistic merit to this, but don't hate the player, hate the game. That's just what it is, you know?
Classic socialist theory as well. It's like you could blame individuals or you could blame the system.
Yeah.
And blame the f***ing system.
Blame the system.
Piggybacking off of the amount of watch time to, you know, like how you view it as a success. Going to the video where you talk about that Emily Streams girl.
Yeah,
and
Emily
like,
CC.
Emily CC, yes.
Yeah.
And she'd been streaming for 1,000+ days at that time. I don't know if she's still doing it. And just like the real life Truman Show effect and like how that has actually taken form like today. I love that video, and I definitely could go on a tangent about that. But particularly when I was watching that video, you know, you had brought up graphs about like loneliness epidemic, people staying inside more often, dating trends seeming to go downward, stuff like this, revolving around, you know, being stuck inside. Seeing all the graphs and the studying made me wonder, you're writing the script in addition to, you know, finding these graphs and synthesizing the information, all of this combined. When you come up with a video idea, how does that look from beginning to end for the video essays?
Well, it's always a little different. So every now and then I get videos where I'm like, all right, this is if I'm writing about a specific creator or something that I feel like is about to blow up, I'm like the Emily CC video, I'm like, she's having a moment right now. I have a lot to say about this, but I got to push it out because I want to capitalize on this moment, right? And that was tough because that was a really hard script to write.
It was dense. You're really attacking a few different points.
Now, if I'd made that video, it would be longer. I'm just afforded more time now because I know some people will watch it and it's less of a investment. Like this current freaking video will end up taking probably like 200 hours to make, probably a little more than that. And I can afford to make it like a little longer because I'm like, if it doesn't work, if it doesn't hit the algorithm, a couple thousand people will still see it. I'll still hit my more people will watch it hours than I spent working on it, right? But yeah, usually I have a very long list of ideas that I kind of just keep as I see things, and I just keep a little list of it. And really what ends up happening is I usually write about 80% of a script and think I'll never be able to do anything with this, and then I'll go back to a script that I've already written 80% of, and I'm like, I'll get this over the finish line. So like the joke script, the one about this joke is bombing or whatever.
Yeah.
That one I only did because I couldn't figure out the video I'm working on right now. And then I went back to this video that I'm working on right now. And it's always easier for me to make videos about stand-up because some videos like just require a lot more research.
Yeah. You're a player in the game, so you know that. Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, and it's like it's basically just a personal story. I'm just telling people about here's a thing that I did and a lesson that I learned from it. It's different than like here's a broader cultural trend that I think might be worrying or why we should pay attention to this.
Yeah, it borders. It is like it's an essay, and they're like think piece adjacent, but you're also still like approach topics that don't feel like wishless or something that's going to come to pass soon. And I think they're great. Well, I hope you keep doing them.
I plan on it. I really appreciate that. It's really.
I also hope you get a Netflix special. And if that special means that you won't get to do these for a while and or ever again, I'm also okay with that.
To be honest, and maybe it's just because this is like, every time there's something new, you always gravitate towards it. But I really find the YouTube stuff fulfilling and almost to a different level than I find like stand-up. I just love writing and I love storytelling.
Yeah.
And my end goal with stand-up was always to either get in the door to like, I've always wanted to write for television. That's always been like my main goal. But like even, I've gotten to do a one-man show a couple of times, and that I also found very fulfilling because that's storytelling. But yeah, I really love being able to bring up graphs. It's so hard to do that in stand-up.
PowerPoint guy.
I love graphs, dude.
Yeah, you're a good graph guy.
I just love, and I don't make them.
This is why this graph is interesting. I will tell you why this graph is interesting. I won't make it.
I think creatively, I'm just good at synthesizing information. It's not like I have any fascinating brand new ideas. I'm not inventing anything, but I think like I know some stats. And I watch stuff.
Guy.
I'm a hoop guy,
He's
and
a hoop guy.
I can bring some stuff together.
He's gonna have some fucking stats.
I'm gonna have some stats.
Paul Platt has stats.
I do. Points per game. I was in an all comedians YMCA basketball team last year.
And were you playing other teams that were comedians?
We were playing people who were good at basketball.
So y'all were getting.
We lost one game by 86 points. It's a 32-minute game.
And the thing is, why leagues in Carolina, dude? There's no fun getting beaten that way, but there's something about Carolina hoops.
We lost to an all-white team called the Short Kings.
And they could hoop, couldn't they?
No.
Oh, you guys were just
we
that
were
bad.
really bad.
Oh, shit.
I got like a backcourt violation once a game. I was so bad, dude. I was so bad. I went 0 for 27 from 3. I really wanted one.
I'm just glad the Knicks drafted you, dude. Honestly.
I love basketball so much. Yeah. I'm not terrible. I'm just not good. I'm so bad. I'm just not good.
I get it. Oh, yeah. You were talking about you get a different enjoyment from making videos than, your stand-up. I fully believe that if you have any interest in any medium and you have the capacity that you are going to put like quality time as a relationship almost, you should give it a spin. Yeah. And inevitably, you might do one for a while, you might do both, you might learn how to juggle it, and you're going to end up doing whatever makes you feel like it has the most longevity for you, or it just serves you, I also think you should also not try to shape yourself as you have idealized in your head, but you should allow like the experiences of life, like really to find you where you're supposed to be. Yeah. One thing was being a producer for others for me. I think it was just something I didn't intend to do, but it's how I was serving people in my community, like around me.
And now you find meaning in it.
Yeah, 100%. And it's different. It serves me so differently than my solo stuff or than making these videos. And these videos serve completely different. You might not be concerned with things that don't matter, because I don't think this matters. How you are perceived based on like your mediums. Is there any type of gut reaction if someone was like, I only see you as a YouTuber, or I only see you as a stand-up?
So I've always loved writing. I've always wanted, like when I was younger, I wanted to be a writer. That was one of my first dreams. And I remember when I was in high school, I did probably 7 combined open mics across all the years I was in high school, like stand-up comedy open mics. And I post pictures of it on Instagram, because obviously.
Yeah. I've been through the trenches.
But I spent probably a combined 15 hours in high school doing stand-up comedy or prepping for stand-up comedy or something like that. And I spent hundreds, thousands of hours writing long form, writing plays or writing pilots or stuff.
Were you a theater kid?
I was in middle school. I did a couple years in high school, but I didn't do anything junior or senior year.
Gotcha. Were you a band kid?
No. Really? I have no sense of rhythm. Zero.
You play piano, no?
Not well, but I do.
They say Paul Platt is Stevie Wonder of piano in the comedy scene.
That's true.
Mostly because he's blind.
And because of my black soul.
Yes.
That's what people say.
That's what people say about Paul Platt. When I talk to Paul Platt, I just think he was in the wrong body.
Yeah, that's good. That'll endear me online.
Dude, you're like Ian.
I wish I'd memorized that freestyle.
Yeah, it's a classic lunch
I'm on my goofy shit. I don't know.
As white people, how did you guys feel about the Ian freestyle?
Finally, some representation.
I saw the much dank edit of it.
I'm like, this is the new Macklemore, my goat.
My goat. Where the is Macklemore? I don't give a I don't like it nor hate him.
I can relate because I have been over my head in a situation before. I've been in over my head, and they're like, Paul, you got to start freestyle rapping in front of a bunch of black people, and you got to act like you've done this before.
What I would do to see that video of you freestyling.
It's just like, should I start now? Oh my God, dude. It's so
That's
bad.
awesome. That rocks.
Worst nightmare scenario.
I can't believe you did it in a Chinese accent as well. What kind of like creative move was that?
We're lucky Ian didn't do that, dude.
He just starts speaking fluent Mandarin. We're like, whoa, wait a second.
姑娘怎么那么漂亮你的眼睛像亮 I said, that girl is very pretty. Her eyes are light.
Nice.
Or are like light, which isn't great.
In another story where I got over my head in a moment talking about my lack of geopolitical knowledge. Was some of the first music I was making and releasing was actually with Tijani and 3 of our friends, Trey, Matt, and Mike.
Yeah.
And we put together like a website for it. I found this girl. She was on where you connect with like freelance designers. We were having like a first meeting on Zoom. And she's from Georgia. And so I say one phrase I had learned in 7th grade because I thought I wanted to learn Russian. So yeah, I say that phrase. And she was like, I'm from Georgia. We don't speak Russian here. And I said, oh, I'm sorry. She was like, yeah, actually, they invaded us 8 years ago. I just folded. I can't do anything else than I'm so sorry. And she said, it's okay. She's cool as She was so nice about it.
That's like calling up your friend in Poland in 1943 and speaking German. That's like crazy. Dude, that's how it goes. That's what happens with comedy. Sometimes you're just like, you show up somewhere, you make a joke, somebody afterwards tells you somebody recently got like, well, you just say a lot of things. That's your job, is to just say things.
I don't remember what I said. I was drunk.
I know.
How am I supposed to remember when I'm 8 beers deep? How am I supposed to remember
when I'm speaking fluent Russian? It's hard to tell.
Yeah, so when you're performing that like type of embarrassment, sometimes that takes a form of somebody like genuinely not liking you. Maybe it just hit in a way. It's like they just had something happen to them. And then sometimes it's just straight up bombing, right?
Yes.
So the Sumerian bit.
The Sumerian bit, okay. I did the Sumerian bit, and I knew it was going to bomb. That was the whole point. That was the whole point of doing it.
Even though I knew that, it still hurt.
Frankly, it went better than I thought it was going to. Reading the jokes, or like saying the oldest joke on stage, I do it twice. That's only like 90 seconds or like 2 minutes or something like that. And then I had to do like 2 more minutes, and I just kind of did some riffing on, I don't know, yaks or something like that. Being able to do that was a good step for me. When I first started doing comedy, I'm like, I'm not taking any creative risks because bombing on stage is the worst thing in the entire world. It is. It's the worst thing in the entire world. A controlled bomb, though, you can handle. Like I can pause on stage, or I can say this isn't going well, but I bombed like 3 months ago, and it's still in my mind. It was bad. I opened with some India-Pakistan material, and I lost them off the bat. And then I followed it with some Pope material, and I just was off my game. I bombed pretty bad in my life. But that's just how it goes.
It's a rite of passage.
It's not just a rite of passage. It's part of it. It's going to keep happening. I'm a pretty consistent comedian, and I try not to do shows that are garbage. And I bombed 3 months ago. And I still think about it. It hurts less with time. And especially once you get on stage and then you crush and you're like, actually, I still got it. I'm actually so back, and you didn't do anything different.
The reaction was just slightly better, but you just had a better day.
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
No one's thinking about that,
I don't know.
Unless they have a vendetta against you. I'm so glad he on that India-Pakistan bit.
The ops. At least in Charlotte, we got a pretty supportive scene. If anybody is happy to see me bomb, they keep it to themselves pretty well.
Not me. I'm happy to see you bomb.
And you wear that on your sleeve, and I respect that about you.
Ever since I met you roughly 2 hours ago, I was like, you know what? No, dude, I don't wish that. I honestly don't wish that. A few people, maybe.
There's some ops out there.
What do Paul Platt's ops look like? Physically, dimensions.
What
is their waist size?
I think I'm pretty fortunate. I think I have very few actual ops.
Guys, let them in. Lucky for you, we called a few of them here today.
Oh my God. It's my ex-girlfriends. Guys, I'm sorry.
Do you think your exes would show up for $20 to just give you a scoffing look? In this economy, it would have to be 50 to 100.
Well, we don't talk a lot, so who knows?
Yeah.
Keep this part in. Keep this part in.
The Sumerian thing, you knew that was going to bomb, and I knew it was going to bomb. Even though you know it's going to bomb, you're still in that space. I was thinking about it as like, is that payoff? Was the payoff solely because you're like, this will be funny on screen with some editing?
I did it with the intention of, I was like, this will be funny as a video. It will be very funny as a video, and it will be very not funny in person, and it won't be fun in person.
Yeah.
I performed it at Crown Station. You know, I used to host the mic there. It was on my home turf, so it's not like I'm going to like a new city and I'm like, hey guys, there's an idiot here. But there were more people in the audience than I was hoping for. Yeah, I remember telling a couple of my friends before, I'm like, I don't think this is going to go good. And I didn't tell them what I was doing because if I did tell them, that kind of ruined it. Also, to be honest, that was a time I was experimenting a lot on stage. I went through a yo-yo phase where I kept trying to do material about yo-yos, and I had a pocket watch. So I was bombing a lot at that time.
How long ago was that?
Maybe a year and a half ago. I can always date my videos based off of how long my hair is and how much stash I have.
Through these interviews, I've had shaved head, mullet, and now just like kind of
dude, the hair looks good.
Thanks, man.
Hair looks-
Shout out Miss Ginny. Also shout out Eva NYC. Also shout out just washing twice a week and dry shampoo and just being cool as
Yeah, it's mostly the coolness part, dude.
Yeah, I'm pretty cool.
Dude, hair hates lame people.
Hey, by the way, don't wear hats as much. If you're balding, stay away from the hats.
Idea.
Bad idea.
It's a bad idea.
I don't think it's a myth. Like
I don't think it is either.
let it breathe, baby.
Let it breathe. I live in a lot of fear of both losing my mustache. I have a lot of nightmares about that for some reason.
Losing your mustache? Why would that happen?
I don't know. I regularly have dreams where I accidentally tear my mustache off. I don't think it's a rational fear. It's just to the point it happens so much. I know I'm dreaming when it happens because I'm like, oh.
But it still hurts.
It does.
So you became attached to it.
Well, it's that, and without this look, I look like a little baby.
Yeah, you look so young. TJ told me you grew a mustache because you didn't want to be compared to John Mulaney.
Well, it's also the voice and the comedy, but I do get dramatically less now.
I f***ing hate to be compared. It's not fun.
I love John Mulaney. I do. I love John Mulaney.
Yeah. I also love who I'm compared to, but I don't want to be compared. Like, I don't want to be seen as Kmart brand whoever.
Who do you get?
Who do I get compared to a lot? Somebody said Joba from Brockhampton. He's cool as f***. I think he's incredibly talented. I love him. But I had gotten that from some close friends of mine. I was like, dude, I love Joba, but I don't want to hear I sound like anyone.
Yeah.
I'm so predictable, dude. I'm so predictable. It's f***ing pathetic. But that's another thing, too. I love to make people feel seen, but when people would see me, it would like... I'd get scared. I'd be like, I don't like that they can see through me.
Yeah. Is that like when you're connecting with people, like making new friends or like...
You name it, romantically, friends. But the thing is, it's not a good thing. It's not a good thing to feel that way because you have to be seen in order to see and vice versa. Because if you're seeing somebody but you're not letting them in...
To be loved is to be known, and you have to be known to be loved.
Yes.
Sometimes sucks.
I might start crying right now. Don't compare me to Joba! Shout out Joba.
This is for you.
That dude's a fucking legend. We talked about like the irony of stuff. Like you'll talk about it's like, yeah, this is might be a little corny or maybe a little embarrassing, but I watched it and I enjoyed it. I have a lot of those things, but I was curious. Like I love Pierce the Veil. I think they're one of my most formative bands. I grew up listening to pop punk, post-hardcore, hardcore, metalcore, all that shit. And Pierce the Veil still to me, it's one of those things like I'm like, I'm embarrassed about, but I'm not really embarrassed because I'm sharing it. Do you have any, whether it's a TV show or an artist or a movie that you're like, I'm genuinely too embarrassed to mostly tell people that I like this?
Oh, yeah, dude, of course. And it's so... I'm of the belief, I think that creatively, wherever you end up is a big part of that is like what you consumed, right? I'm not embarrassed at all to say, I really like Mumford & Sons. When I was like 12, Mumford & Sons was my favorite band of all time. For years, I listened to their albums over and over. If I stumbled across Mumford & Sons now, is that sort of the genre of music I'd listen to now? Not really. But I'm like, it would be disingenuous for me to say that I don't love Mumford & Sons. I love Mumford & Sons. I consume a lot of content, and I try not to be elitist. Because I just don't think having like good taste is a thing to be proud of. I think having terrible taste is maybe a thing to be embarrassed by. But I honestly don't even believe that. I just think in general, like, taste is an expression of who you are and the things that you like and the things that you like about yourself. Like when somebody's like, I only love these sorts of movies, or like, I only listen to the most indie stuff. I'm like, that's cool. It's cool that you like that. But I'm like, it doesn't necessarily make you more interesting to be into that sort of stuff than for, like, you know, a suburban mom to really like Imagine Dragons. I just don't care. Consumption is not a hobby. It's an interest.
On top of that, like, consumption is not really indicative of intrinsic value at all.
Yeah, exactly. Or like what you can create or what's within you. The problem with pretentiousness, or as an idea, is that it's loving something to kind of like put other things down, you know? Like, you know why Roger Ebert is the preeminent movie critic? He has this like Midwestern like humanism about him. He approaches every movie from what it's trying to do. And I'm like, the people who their taste is interesting to me, quote unquote, are the people who are really excited to engage with all of it.
Like, honestly, I could have hated whatever it was prior, but if I hear someone's like enthusiasm and just like they light up about it, I can really get behind that more than just agreeing with somebody who's saying the right likable things for a scene.
There's so many people. It's like, yeah, we get it, dude. 8.5 is a great movie. The Godfather is a great movie. I love The Godfather. But when somebody tells me their favorite movie is The Godfather, okay, that's fair. But you ask for their top 5, and it's like
Scarface, Godfather. They are good movies.
But they're all good. But dude, throw in a Bull Durham in there, dude. Throw in a like something embarrassing and human and like who you are. If your favorite movies aren't an expression of the multifaceted version of yourself that you actually are, then I'm just frankly not interested in it.
I don't want some static ass in my life.
Dude, I can go on IMDb to see what good movies are. I can see that. I want to know what movies you like. I want to know that.
I can only really feel like a true enjoyer and consumer of art with mediums I don't have an interest in doing myself.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's fair.
I think it's also very important to make sure you are engaging with other people within your mediums.
Yeah.
Going back to movies and stuff, I will do a quick reference sometimes if I see a preview that seems good. I'll watch a 5 out of 10 average, and I have a good time. I love M. Night Shyamalan movies. Some of them aren't great, but I love them. I just love the tenacity to sometimes really go. Like The Village, to me, I still love.
And that's good. You should. I think you're just supposed to love art. Like, I want to meet everything halfway or more than halfway. I am excited for anybody trying to express anything and taking gonzo risks and being wrong about things. The only thing that I really feel very bored by things that are soulless. And even then, I've got grace because it was still made with a lot of effort. And I think like people want to go, they'll be like, okay, there are no good comic book movies, or they're all good comic book movies. People want to take like these like strong stances.
Those are probably racist people, though.
Yeah, it's like when people think that Larry Bird is the GOAT in basketball. It's like, all right, you're just racist. That's not a defensible position.
No, it's not.
He's great.
GOAT is crazy.
GOAT's insane, dude.
Yeah, immediately leaving that conversation, finding the fastest way. And I'm not even a hoop guy. You're a hoop guy. At some point, you have to know that you do have some expertise. When you're climbing the mountain, you're only looking at the peak, but you're not looking at where you came from. Really important to reel back and be like, this is awesome.
Well, I think that's what's important creatively is just like, you just got to remember everything you have now, you desired at some point and didn't have. At one point, you were like, oh, I wish I knew how to make beats. Oh, I wish I knew how to make good beats. Oh, I wish I had good equipment. I wish I was around talented people. And then we have, whatever level we're at now, that at one point we told ourselves, well, once I get there, I'll be happy. I remember I hit 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. I'd spent like a year being like, dude, once I get 10K, I'll have felt like I made it. I don't feel like that at all.
It don't feel different.
It doesn't feel different at all. Now I'm like, well, once I get to 100K, I'll feel good. No, I won't. But that's why you have to actively be like, I am choosing to appreciate what I have. Yeah. There's nothing else.
Kind of adjacent to that, I feel like if you don't acknowledge and kind of pivot expectations of what success means, because you can acquire and acquire and acquire, you do have to eventually start to know that success, you've made it, might look differently than more money. If you don't pivot, you're gonna become a fucking weirdo. I just keep looking at these crepe myrtle trees, and I'm just like, I'm so glad they bloomed.
It's beautiful.
I know. So like,
I'm not a seafood guy. I don't like seafood in general. It freaks me out. I don't like that I can see their whole bodies at once.
I get why people wouldn't like seafood.
It tastes like the sea. My girlfriend at the time, we went to a nice seafood restaurant.
Shout out his ex-girlfriend. Here's her @ and her phone number.
Yes, somebody else will have to call her because I can't.
So you went out to a place with your...
She made me eat an oyster. What's the thing with like, it looks like mucus.
Yeah. And they're like, just put the sauce on it and it's good. Sauce is great, but if you have to justify it that it's not good by itself, then it's probably just not good.
It just was like...
That chewiness is crazy.
It was really bad.
Are you a squeamish guy? Do textures do it for you? Textures freak me out.
And not texture. I have a sensitive stomach. Just foods and stress gets me. My stomach gets... That's why I throw up before shows sometimes.
Downward too?
No.
Just up. You're a hooper, dude.
I'm a hooper all day, every day.
When I'm nervous, I'm still a hooper.
That's how I do it.
Most things, I'm like, to each your own. I don't like corn, so like I'm not gonna hate
Aren't you
shit.
a Kansas guy? Isn't that like sacrilegious?
It is true. And I lived in Iowa for a bit, and Iowa's real corn country. Kansas is wheat, is more breadbasket.
I'm sorry.
What am I gonna get into here?
I'm sorry.
This is dumb.
I guess I look like an
I'm
idiot.
not defensive at all.
You love wheat. You hate corn.
I can't eat wheat.
You can't eat wheat?
Not anymore.
Celiacs?
Not like real celiac, just my body don't like it. So it's a recent development.
That's what happened with my cat. I wasn't allergic for years, and then one day I was like, can't do it.
Eggs did it for me too.
If I lose eggs, that's like a lot. Yeah, I have a...
Hey, you see my BMW on the wall?
Whoa.
Yeah, dude. Sorry. I had to boast. I had to flex on these stupid f***s.
Dude, what are these? What is this? Herald of Peace?
Yes, this is an artist named Ed Sheverton. Behind each of these are prints, but then he'll include a concept draft that never made it. And I just discovered that when I was moving everything here. I don't know what that is, what that looks like for me and when I do music, but there is something that feels so good about feeling that individual experience of like, wow, I have this one-of-one copy. I guess you could say performances are like that if you really, if that's your art form, but...
Yeah, how do you create like authentic one-of-one?
I mean, that one EP probably took 200 hours.
Dude, you got to count all the hours f***ing around and writing the wrong thing and trying songs that don't work and hitting the wrong drums. And the only way out is through, you know? You start something and the only way to get to the product at the end is to do a lot of weird stuff in the middle. Well, that's how everything is. Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
As a real person that makes money says, you gotta lose it to get it or something like that.
I wouldn't know. I would know about losing money. I'd lost $300 sports gambling last year. $300 US. Once it became legal in North Carolina, they were handing out free money because it turns out sports gambling is really fun. It's a random July Tuesday. I'm going to watch a baseball game for no reason. Now, all of a sudden, there's a reason. I would do like, at first I'd do more, but now when I bet, I do $2 bets. Best case scenario, I get like $11 back. I never got into poker or like any other types of gambling because I'm like bad at games. I know I'm going to lose. Every time I've ever paid $20 to buy into poker, I'm like, I'm spending $20 to hang out with my friends, which sounds sad, but is actually joyful and a celebration of life.
Okay, I take it back. I play Hearthstone. So like no, I get it. I could get into it. Speaking of losing money, I think I just lost our deposit on the archery place. They never got back to me about shooting, so I was like,
those bastards.
Yeah. To be fair, I did hit them up like 2 days ago.
I did archery once in China. I was bad at it there too. Growing up in China is really confusing because they speak another language than you and you're just always in different places. And already being a kid is very confusing. Being a kid is confusing all the time. So I don't know. I did fucking archery somewhere one time. It didn't seem very high tech. Maybe it was just a guy with a bow who was nice. I don't know. When I was 6 months old, we lived in like Germany for 6 months and then eventually moved back to the US and then they packed up. My brother was 4 months old and we moved to China. And this is China in the 2000s, which now it's much more accessible if you don't speak the language. And, you know, when I was there from 2004 to 2016, they're very different countries. China's a really safe place. It's just a really safe place. I felt safe the entire time I was there as a kid. And because the country only really opened up in the 90s to foreigners, not like there was other people there before, but like it was a very unique experience being a young white kid in China. So they just kind of let you do things. I drove a subway one time. They just let me.
They let you what?
They'd let me drive a subway.
Like the train?
Yeah. I mean, it was like a training. There were people on it, though, so that's pretty cool. They were like, push this. I'm like, I don't want to.
I loved you in the Karate Kid remake. You were so blonde then, though.
I was. Me and Jaden Smith.